It's time to give a rating for the Mercedes Benz EQA 250 Plus Urban AMG Edition. I would say that the Mercedes Benz is... So, this is the car that I have been using as my daily driver for the last 4 weeks. I've spent over 42 hours in the car, and after 4 weeks, do I still recommend this as an EV? I've found the good sides and the bad sides, so let's talk about it. So if you're new here, welcome. We test the cars for 4 weeks because we believe it's different than just having one quick, short road trip. Previously, we tested the BYD Seal, which I had really nice experience with. That was the first one. This is the second one. And then very soon, tomorrow, in fact, we're getting the third one. So if you're someone who's considering maybe trying an EV or wanting to know what the cars are like, well, this channel is for you. But let's talk about the good sides first about this Mercedes Benz EQA then. If you look at the car in isolation, on its own, just not comparison, the car is a good car. It's good quality, it's got good interior, and you're gonna love the car. You're gonna have great experience. But here's some of the things that kind of stood out to me when testing it after 4 weeks. The auto fan speed of the Mercedes is really good. I found myself in the BYD, I was always trying to put the fan speed up or down and trying to adjust it, and it didn't save any of the settings because everything was electronic. This one here, I've had no complaints. I hardly actually touch the aircon, the temperature, what this is. I just kind of leave it as it is, and it just does a really good job. The driving position in this car is more sat up, you're more higher up. So if you're a person who doesn't like to slouch down and kind of be very, very close to the floor, then this is a good option of a car for you. It feels more of a 4x4 or SUV where you're higher up and you can see a little bit more. It's got lots of safety equipment. It will tell you about the speed warnings when cars are on the side, in the front, in the back. It will tell you, hey, watch out when you're opening the door, blind spots and things like that. The steering wheel has up and down shifting paddles, which once you've figured out what they do, it's actually really cool. They change the strength of the regenerative braking. So if you want to shift down, it basically makes the regenerative braking stronger. It feels like a downshift. It's a really cool feature. The range is not bad either. You can do 250 miles plus, and I think that's what the actual 250 plus in the back of the car really means. In fact, when it's fully charged, it's actually telling me that I can do 300 or just shy of 300, which is nice, but obviously real world, we're going to talk about that in a minute. It does come with an app where you can preheat the cabin and then lock the doors and open the doors and do a few things on the app, so that's quite nice. Now, these are the good sides, but there is also bad sides. By the way, if you're wondering how am I testing all of these cars and just changing them all the time, it's actually a really cool service that I found, and if you want, you can check it out as well. I'm going to leave a link in the description below, but it's a car subscription. You can change the car in 28 days, choose the car you want. If you're interested in that, check it out in the video description below or send an email to the one on the screen and you should be able to get 50% off the sign-up fees. I just asked them if they'd be nice to, give you this because I really like the service. Now, before we talk about the bad sides, you need to understand that this car is £51,000. Remember, £51,000, the indicator sound on this Mercedes is very, very quiet. Sometimes you're like, am I indicating or am I not indicating? Perhaps this is too posh of a car where people don't need to indicate. I'm not sure. The adaptive cruise control is not included in this car. If you want it, you have to pay extra, which is an absolute ripoff because all the equipment to have that adaptive cruise control is in the car. If you want it activated, you just have to pay extra. It says that you can pay for it at the later date. It does have all the sensors and things on it. I thought, oh, maybe you need to install something extra, but it does give me warning lights when a car miles ahead has stopped. My music stops, it gives me a warning light saying, like, kind of watch out, the car has stopped, which means it can do cruise control. adaptive cruise control. As far as I can see, there's no mirror heating in this car. If you don't like the music you're listening to and you want to go next track, then it is almost impossible to do without crashing the car. There is no buttons on the steering wheel that would help you to go next track. The only way you can do it is say next track. Next off, the boot locking issue. With the key, you can open the boot and the boot will stay open. There is no way to lock the car boot or close the car boot with the key, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I experienced this in a very bad way. I was putting the kids to bed and I actually forgot the key in my pocket. And one of the kids was sitting on my lap when we were reading the bedtime stories. But what I didn't know is they sat on the boot opening lock, and then the boot opened on the street outside the house. And after half an hour, someone knocked on the door who drove past our house half an hour before and said, "Hey, your boot is open. I'm just letting you know, is that your car?" And we realized it is our car. And the boot is wide open. I've got some tools in the boot. I've got some stuff in the boot. And it didn't give me an indication that the boot was open. And there was no like auto lock. Like, why wouldn't there be an auto lock? That's a little bit of an issue. I've also found that the cabin noise in this car is louder than in the BYD we tested. When we're editing the videos, we realized that when driving this car has a lot of ambient sound, outside sound, which was much quieter on the BYD. The reversing camera is there, but the screen is very small where you can see the reversing camera, and there is no 360 camera in this car. At this price point, I would kind of expect that, would you? Also, this car has no automatic hold on the brake. So whenever you stop, you better keep your foot on the brake because otherwise it's just gonna go. There is no auto hold in this car. Again, a bit of a ripoff. Now, I feel that this car was not meant to be built as an EV because when we open the bonnet, there is no storage space underneath. They have just shoved kind of all the wiring and everything that you need in there, not trying to save space at all. Also, this does not have a gearbox, yet on the floor here, there's a massive gearbox kind of space. You could have all this empty space for storage, yet no, they just kind of blocked it off, and I assume it's all empty because there's no gearbox in there. Next off, the handling of this car is a little bit odd. It's a front wheel drive, especially when you put your foot down. It's not as fast as the BYD. It's got 140 kilowatts, so it's not the fastest. But in the traffic, it still feels pretty rapid, so you don't have to kind of pre-think all of your movements. Although I have found that the instant fast acceleration that you usually see with an EV is not the case in here. The way this accelerates is very, very slowly. It is almost impossible to get a wheel spin with this car, even when everything is off. The only way you can do it if you're on a wet tarmac and you put the foot down on a sports mode without the traction control, then you will get some kind of wheel spin. But the torque applied to it is very, very conservative at first. The Mercedes assistant here, when you say, "Hey Mercedes," it's pretty useless. When you set up this Mercedes profile, you have the option to have a voice control on it and say, "Load my personal profile." But every time I've tried to do that, it has never, I mean never, recognized my voice for the first time when entering the car. So for the first couple of minutes of me driving the car is me talking to this lovely Mercedes lady saying, "Hey Mercedes, load my personal profile."
I'm Mercedes, your voice assistant. Would you like to know more about what I could do for you?
No, thank you.
Your voice yet.
No,
Please
thank
log
you.
into your
Stop.
personal user profile and start
Hey
voice
Mercedes,
training
stop,
via
stop,
the
stop,
profile.
stop. Okay. Firstly, the voice is very robotic, so it feels very much like AI, like someone's just reading a script, and it doesn't feel natural, but it's very useless. It can't do much of anything. As in BYD, you could pretty much control the whole car with voice command, not with this Mercedes. The display in this car is small and has huge bezels. It's like we're going back to I don't know what. In new cars, I don't feel the bezels should be that big. In fact, this big screen has a bezel in between the screen. So it's not even one screen. It is absolutely weird. And when talking about the display, whoever has programmed it has not tested it, because when you've got Android Auto on and when adjusting any of the aircon buttons, then the actual graphics will go on top of the other graphics. So it just looks like someone's, we'll put it there, but hasn't actually checked what's there underneath. So it looks very cheap and looks like a big fail or like a bug, even though there is empty space next to it where they could put the graphics where they always could be. But no, so expect a software update from Mercedes for them to fix it. Now, if you're asking for the real world consumption, if you're wondering how well this is, bear in mind we're in the UK and this is autumn right now, so the temperature is kind of between 5 and 15 degrees. It's getting cold. That is Celsius. Now, I have driven 784 miles with this car, and the average consumption has been 325 watt hours per mile. So after 700 miles, I thought I'll go and have a look at the used car pricing for this amount. So we know it was £51,000. What about the used market now? How much would this car be worth after I've driven it 700 miles? When going online, I can see that this car has lost £20,000 of its value when going looking at some of the used car prices, which is astronomical considering from 51,000 to roughly around £30,000 after 1 month of use. So it's time to give a rating for the Mercedes Benz EQA 250 Plus Urban AMG Edition. I would say that the Mercedes Benz is 6.5 out of 10. It seems a little bit negative, but compared to the BYD Seal that we tried last month, the BYD Seal I would rate 9 out of 10. It was absolutely fantastic. Yet this one here just doesn't hit the mark quite as well. In conclusion, would I recommend this as an EV? I think if you're using this car in an isolation, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I think you'll have great experience. If you are asking me if this car is great for the value and performance, what you get for it, the answer is absolutely not. Some people say that even the battery safety on the Mercedes is not as good as on the BYD. Let me know if you agree with this, but if you're interested in knowing what's going to be the next car we're going to test, well, stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks guys for watching. I'd love to know what you think in the comment section below.